Donald Trump hearing that he's being booted from the Colorado ballot. He wasn't happy about that. Now, he hasn't gone on at length yet on Truth Social about it. He's mainly relied on his lackeys. He's been retweeting virtually everyone who goes on the news to talk about this thing. And I mean everyone. Have you ever tried to go through Donald Trump's Truth Social feed to find like a specific thing? He never stops posting on there. When did it become normalized for people, and let's be honest, guys, to tweet as much as they do? And not just him, Elon Musk. Have you ever tried to find like a specific one of Glenn Greenwald's tweets from like a day or two ago? It will take you 30 minutes. And I don't understand how we've gotten to this social situation. But more importantly, the whole constitutional thing, what he has said is things like, what a shame for our country and a sad day in America. Although, again, he almost certainly knows that the Supreme Court is gonna knock this thing down, whether they should or not. And as always, all of this stuff plays into his victim complex, his martyr complex. I'm sure this is gonna help him in the Republican primary. So is it really that sad of a day for Donald Trump? I do want to remind you though of something that he did tweet. Now this is going back a bit further, but you might recall that back in the 2016 race, he actually lost Iowa. Ted Cruz did way better than expected. And in response to that, he tweeted, the state of Iowa should disqualify Ted Cruz from the most recent election on the basis that he cheated, a total fraud. And some of you might be wondering, well, I wasn't around back then. How did he cheat? How was he a fraud? Nothing. There was no specific claims. Trump just didn't like that he lost. So he said, screw what the people voted on. It's not up to them. I want the judges to step in and overturn this thing. So when it's in his favor, he's perfectly happy to have people removed from the ballot, even after the fact. But when it's affecting him, not so much. And that said, while he hasn't been very specific about this, his spokesperson said that this is the Democrats getting paranoid. Although again, it wasn't the Democrats that launched this case. And they said that they're going to swiftly file an appeal. These are un-American lawsuits. So what do you think about the sort of PR aspect of this, Rayyvana, about the attempt to spin all of this?
I mean, it's the same PR campaign they've been running in regards to all of his trials. I mean, I remember during his civil damages trial in New York, he kept saying that this is an attempt to interfere with the election, to keep me off the campaign trail, despite the fact that he didn't have to be there. But it's been a really effective message for him and his base. I mean, we've been getting in these batches of Trump supporter footage from Michael Schor at these rallies, and that seems to be a really big rallying cry for a lot of those. I mean, and sifting through that is some of the most mind-numbing and brain-killing things I've ever had to do for Rebel HQ. But pull out some golden moments, that's always fun. But yeah, I mean, it really seems like it's an effective message, so they're continuing it there. Of course, he had to do his little sprinkle anti-Semitism on it, referred to George Soros and some of those statements. But I mean, it's really important for him, and I'll bring this back to what I was saying earlier. It's really important for him to message that this is the Democratic Party. This is crooked Joe Biden that's doing this, somehow connected to Hillary Clinton. I don't know. But it's funny because as we were just talking about, this really isn't necessarily in the best interest of the Democratic Party, not electorally, not politically. I mean, Trump being on the ballot might be the only thing that gives Joe Biden a second term. And even that, is a little bit shaky. But as you were mentioning, this would be great news for someone like Nikki Haley, who seems to now have ascended above the pack of garbage, levitating above the can, if you will. As far as the rest of the candidates for the Republican nomination go, if this was to go in against Trump's favors, that would definitely benefit her. But yeah, I mean, it's the same messaging campaign they've been running. Just they're gonna find a way to repackage it just a little bit, no matter what seeming slight or transgression against Trump they're talking about in the media on any given day.
Yeah, I agree. It's indisputably true that this is Biden's best chance, but I love that like all of the Trump people have to pretend that that's not the case. They all have to be like, no, Biden's like secretly super scared of Trump. Like, no, he's the literal best chance, but you guys can't accept that because it makes you look bad. Probably good news for Nikki Haley. I disagree with the characterization that she has risen above the trash. I think that she is perhaps on the top of the trash. She's like an eclair on a doily sitting at the very top, like an angel, but still reeking of trash like the rest of them. But anyway, Biden, we don't have the video for you, but Biden was asked about this ruling as he got off or got onto a plane. He's asked if Trump was an insurrectionist. He said, it's self-evident. You saw it all, Jack. Now, whether I added the Jack. Now, whether the 14th Amendment applies, I'll let the court make that decision, but he certainly supported an insurrection. There's no question about it. None, zero, which seems fair. I'm perfectly happy to criticize Biden when he's wrong. I think that that's fair. It will, in the end, by the way, realistically be up to a court, no matter what Biden wants. I know the right wants to pretend that it's up to him, but that's not actually how it works. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.